Hello everybody, my name is Jaap Hollander. I am a psychologist from the Netherlands and I've been teaching provocative coaching and provocative therapy for over 20 years. Together with my colleague Jeffrey Wijnberg, we have trained hundreds of provocative coaches. In this series of short videos, I would like to introduce you to a number of what we call advanced techniques of provocative coaching. Of course, if there are advanced techniques, there should also be basic techniques, so as to distinguish the two from each other. And so I will first start with describing what we consider to be the basics. For us, the basics of provocative coaching, as derived from Frank Farrelly, the father of provocative therapy, is what we call the Provocative Starter Kit. You may have heard about that or maybe read about that. I will quickly describe the Provocative Starter Kit so that you will understand what I think you know when I explain the advanced techniques. So the first element of the Provocative Starter Kit, actually the first element of any good provocative work, is that famous combination of humor, laughter, the laughing state, finding things funny, having the jester's attitude on the one hand, combined with warmth, positive regard for the other person, respect for their model of the world, and basically seeing them as a wonderful person, sponsoring them. It's the second element. And the third element, of course, is challenging, provoking, and getting to that incongruence where the verbal messages may be harsh, but the underlying sort of stream of contact is warm and accepting. That's the first element of the Provocative Starter Kit, to enable the coach to be in that combined state of humor, warmth and challenge. Second aspect of the starter kit is framing. The way you frame what you are doing is very important for the client, in the sense of enabling the client to interpret, place, understand what you are doing. So the basic frame, there's a much more extensive formulation, but the basic frame is, I'm challenging you to make you stronger. So it's the second element of the starter kit. Then of course there is problem inventarization. So what is the problem the coachee wants to talk about? And here sometimes people will come up with an internal problem. Like for instance, I get angry at my boss, or I feel guilty towards my children, or I have these thoughts in my head that I can't get rid of. These are all internally formulated problems. They have to do with what somebody feels, fantasizes, sees in his mind's eye, stuff like that. Basically, those are all things that he has control over. Now, an external problem would be, I have a very difficult boss, or my daughter ran away last month, or it's a very difficult market situation right now. These are all external circumstances, so the client is describing the difficult circumstances, often they are difficult, they are in, but they're not talking about their internal processes. So another part of the starter kit is to guide the client from external processes to internal processes. So somebody says, I have a very difficult boss. As a provocative coach, it's your task to ask things like, so when you meet that difficult boss, or when you are with that difficult boss, what does that do with you? How does that make you feel? What does that make you think? What is the effect of the difficult boss on you? So that way you translate external circumstances into internal processes. And then you will provoke on those internal processes and not on the external circumstances. So that's the second element, the second aspect, I might almost say, of the starter kit. The third one, not always in this exact position where I'm describing it now, is giving the client a nickname. So if somebody's very, spiritual and very, has very sort of holistic values, and yet has some irritation, you might, for instance, call him the angry hippie. Or if somebody is a sort of insecure manager who sort of, happily dances around everybody but doesn't really get to the point, you might call him the positive bubbler. These are some examples from my own practice. The point here is that the nickname has to sort of be a short code for something you want to provoke in the client. So you don't call him the nice hippie or the positive person, because that doesn't, that's not abrasive enough. The nickname needs to be a little abrasive. It needs to elicit a little bit of a provocative response in the client. So that's number 3. So we've talked about the basic attitude, we talked about the frame, we talked about, translating external circumstances to internal processes, and we talked about the nickname. Then there is a phase of goal reversal, which basically means I want to achieve something as a client, and you as a provocative coach are saying, no, it's not a good idea. I have a problem, and you as a provocative coach go, why is that a problem? Maybe that's a good thing. You are angry at your boss. Well, isn't it a natural response if you have such an irritating boss? So basically, in this framework, the good is bad and the bad is good. So the goal is not good and the problem is good. The client has a different idea, so this intervention is designed to elicit a resistance response or maybe an accepting response. Both are okay. Both are good provocative effects, provocative responses. One is resistance, no, that's not true, I don't accept that. And one is acceptance. Okay, well, there might be something in that. Maybe I should simply accept that. Those are both good. Many people think that provocative coaches only want resistance. Well, provocative coaches love resistance, but acceptance is often also a very good response, because if you accept things the way they are, you basically have no problem. So this is about goal reversal, and then the last aspect of the starter kit is what we call the do some more of that matrix. So basically, Frank Verlies says this: do some more of that, feel some more of that, think some more of that. So the client is angry, okay, be a little more angry, think a little more, some more angry thoughts, feel a little angrier, and this is basically stimulating the problem. And we have designed something that we call the do some more of that matrix, where we have all kinds of different ways in which you can tell the client to do some more of that. So, for instance, we distinguish, yourself or society. So, for instance, you want to be, more harmonious and less angry. So, oh, wait a minute. What if everybody in society would go hippie, peace, okay, everything is fine? We would be occupied by a different country within a couple of months, right? So that's more a society oriented response. Or you could focus it on people the client knows. Well, You know, if you are so harmonious and peaceful all the time, you know, aren't your coworkers gonna think you're stoned or something? He used to be a really, you know, good and goal-oriented manager, and now all day he's going, hey, peace, brother, where am I? So they're not gonna respond so positively to that, are they? So there you focus it on nearby people, important people in the client's environment. And like this, we have a whole bunch of different cells. I think we have something like 24 different ways in which you can say, do some more of that. And that's also part of the starter kit. So when I am talking about advanced techniques, I am presupposing that you know about this. And I'm presupposing that you have done the starter kit, you've learned the starter kit, that you've worked with the starter kit. I mean, of course, you're welcome to watch the videos, you know, if you haven't, but this is what I'm presupposing. This is what I am assuming that you know when you watch these next few videos about advanced techniques of provocative coaching. Thank you and see you in the next movie.